Well, hello everyone. Ogre27 Kane here today, and I'm gonna do a review of Disney's Illusion Island for the Nintendo Switch. Let's do a bit of an overview and figure out what this game is all about. So this is a 1 to 4 player co-op Metroidvania brought to us by Dlala Studios. Me and my daughter Froggo14 really enjoyed this game, and it was a huge surprise to us. The control, the music, the gameplay, everything is pretty stellar and top-notch on this. We enjoyed this game a lot. She will not be joining me on this review, but nonetheless, I will feature a lot of 2-player gameplay in this. So without further ado, let's jump into our first category, and we're going to start off with the story today. So the story in this game is both the high point and the low point. The high point being how well the dialogue is written with the interactions amongst the characters. Mickey, Minnie, Donald, and Goofy are hilarious together, and Donald really takes the cake. He has a lot of great one-liners. But the story itself is pretty weak sauce. It really just conveys itself to get you from one point to the next. It sees you entering the land of Monoth to help this King Toku out find 3 tomes, and these tomes are essentially the key to peace on the island, or at least you're told. Now, he puts it forth as this huge heroic quest where you're going to save everybody and everything. But the game has a few nice twists to it, and it really does allude to some finer points to the story. Yeah, it kind of takes a little while to see these, and all of the elements combined really do make up to be a good, entertaining piece. It really is just about the comedy with Donald. Now, there are other elements to the story that I don't really want to spoil, but one of the other elements that I gotta share is the way that some of the characters treat you in this game is pretty funny, as there's a lot of sarcasm, and one of the characters is just downright condescending to you. Being a kid's game, I really didn't expect this well of written dialogue, but I'm absolutely intrigued with it. So let's move on now to gameplay. So here in the gameplay section, we're going to kind of talk about all of the elements to this game. And one of the core elements is the Metroidvania aspect. You spend the entire game searching this island to find all these cool power-ups and upgrades. You're seeing one of them here on screen. And I absolutely adored all of these elements. Absolutely fantastic. They fit in well with the story too, as it takes its place in between from area to area. The one thing I gotta mention though is that there is no combat in this game. There is some light combat sequences essentially with some boss fights. I'll show you one at the very end of the video, but nothing that involves you actually even interacting in anything other than a platforming or puzzle solving section. That being said, there really won't be a combat section in this video, as there's not much to cover. All of the other elements of gameplay though, the story, the music, the graphics and animations, and all the cool little puzzles and secrets like what you're seeing here on screen, really fit together to make a very cohesive game. And I didn't expect this game to come out and be this fantastic, but it does truly live up to the Illusion moniker, the Illusion name, as I am a huge fan of the old Genesis games. The game has a lot of other really cool gameplay features that you'll discover in terms of how the characters interact with environments later on, but I really don't want to spoil a lot of that as they are story-based elements. The last thing I really need to mention about this game is how fantastic all the bosses and all the creatures are, as the illustrations and drawings are adorable. I love it. So let's move to graphics and animations now. So in terms of graphics and animations, this game absolutely looks stunning. They took everything from the mid-2000s Mickey and Minnie series. Now, I didn't personally watch any of that, but I do remember my older daughter watching quite a bit of it, and she was always very entertained. The game has an excellent performance, locked at 60 FPS, and it runs in a true 1080p on a TV docked and 720 handheld. There are no performance issues from anything I can tell. I never had a crash, I never had frame rate drops, I never had any issues themselves, and the cutscenes are absolutely stunning too, running at 60 FPS also. The game has a certain cinematic look to it. As you can see, the game pans in and out, and the animation quality never dips or differs from when the camera pans in and out itself. There's no dynamic resolution to deal with, and there's no issues with too many things being on screen. They truly took their time and ironed out every single detail in this, and it really goes to show what one can achieve when they really focus on the console in which they're working. I don't really know who Dlala Studios is, but I am so impressed with their work that I'm firmly in their corner now. So the last thing I really need to mention is that my video can only shoot at 30 FPS, so I'm really truly not doing this game justice. When you see it on a bigger screen running truly how it's supposed to, it looks absolutely fantastic. As you can see here, the map is giant, so they put in a lot of effort. So let's move on now to controls and audio. So first up, we're going to start with the controls. And the controls in this game at first were really floaty to me. I wasn't a fan, but after I got used to it and got my first ability, my double jump, thank God, everything clicked for me. On top of that, every single ability you gain in this game is really easy to use and intuitive to what you're trying to do. It's really only about figuring out the puzzle itself in your head and how you want to deconstruct it. There is no issues for me whatsoever in controls here, and if you're a fan of Metroidvanias, you should feel right at home here. Let's talk about the audio. The audio in this game is absolutely fantastic, and I want to show some off, so let's take a listen. Pretty darn amazing if you ask me. The music is a huge element to the gameplay, and it adds a ton of the mystery and a ton of the easygoing element nature to the game. Really truly is a huge part of it, and I really wouldn't say that there's any aspect of the music I didn't like. The sound effects are fantastic, and the voice acting during the cutscenes is very, very much top notch. It's what I expect, so let's do conclusion now. So in conclusion, this turned out to be a massive sleeper hit for me and my daughter. We both enjoyed this game a lot, and it has different levels of its difficulty. You can make this game as easy as you want, and you can make this game as hard as you want. But I will warn you, as you get towards the end of the game, it really does have some really fun and intriguing puzzles. And the game does a great job of making you think of things. On top of that, having 4-player co-op makes it a great family game, and all of the comedy that ensues and all of the antics are some of the best I've seen in a game like this in a while. In conclusion, I think Disney absolutely knocked it out of the park on this, and that's kind of rare to say as there's not too many Disney properties I'm interested in anymore. If they continue this game as a series, I will be there to support it. I absolutely enjoyed this, and this game gets an absolute must-play from me and my daughter. So the last thing I need to say is that this game does have a physical copy, and it's fairly cheap, around $40 brand new. It's complete on the cartridge and worth every penny. If you look around, I'm sure you could find a great deal on it, as I don't think it sold terribly well, but don't wait too long because of that aspect. We really need to do our part and support this studio, so hopefully we can get a sequel. And keep the Illusion name going, because this is a series from my childhood that everyone should experience. Well, that wraps it up, so thank you for watching today's video. It was a blast to make. I upload every single Monday. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe, and have a great rest of your day. This is Ogre27 Kane, signing out.